Hi, it's Stacy with the Stacy Esser Group, and this is the market of the moment. I'm briefly going to touch upon what we dive into in our monthly newsletter, which is really just looking at what's being proposed by the new administration. And so we have the Biden administration proposing some pretty big reform that may very well affect you and your plans for your real estate investments. Just to go over a little bit, what we're talking about here is Biden's sweeping tax plan includes changes to capital gains, and that could impact homeowners, especially when homeowners are in such a hot market like this one. Biden's plan targets households that are making more than $1 million per year. Any homeowner who sells their home for a significant gain could also be dinged at tax time if those profits kind of push them over that $1 million threshold. This proposed increase in federal as well as state capital gains tax rates could kind of sting our homeowners, and we are strongly recommending that you consider this when planning your real estate transactions and talk to a financial planner about the timing, because obviously these proposals should not take effect immediately, and if you're planning on selling, you might be able to get away with not paying those heavier capital gains taxes if you can do that prior to those reforms taking place, right? Biden's bill also proposes to raise taxes on inherited property gains at death, which will affect many more families than just wealthy ones. Currently, heirs can defer taxes until they sell a home and can adjust the home's value to the date of death. This saves taxpayers quite a lot of money. However, Biden's proposed bill would view the home inheritance like a sale and would make heirs pay for any gains that happened before they actually received the property. So there's a lot of things to talk about here. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional tax person or professional on the Biden administration. I'm reading people and talking to people who are in the know, and this is just a quick bite of what we are getting and how it will affect your real estate plans. So, some things to consider that might spare you the pain of those increased charges would be maybe sell now. So, Biden's tax plan probably won't come into effect until next year. So sell now before that happens. Take advantage of the existing tax exclusion. Of course, talk to your financial planner. That's always important. Talk to your financial planner and see how all this information sort of fits in to your plans for real estate. So moving on, let's talk about what's going on in our market. So anybody watching the news or following us or just seeing what's going on in the market, probably knows that this is a market unlike any market that we've seen. I mean, I've been doing this since 2010, but it's really an unbelievable market. And by that, I mean, we are full on in a national housing shortage. So here's the cool thing about the national housing shortage. Before COVID happened, it was predicted that we would be in a national housing shortage. So again, I'm going to say it. It's pretty cool. Before COVID, it was predicted that we would be in this national housing shortage. COVID gaslighted it. The interest rates gaslighted it. And we know part of the low interest rates are because of what happened with COVID. But basically, we are in a national housing shortage because of pure and honest demand for housing. It's not speculation. It's not anything like that. It's literally that we have a huge demographic of buyer who has money to spend and is in buying mode, and we simply have more buyer demand than we do housing supply. So it's not pent-up demand from COVID. It's not that anymore. It's just pure demand. So COVID gaslighted it and has increased the demand for housing. People obviously are living in their houses in a way that they've never lived in them before and have done so for the last year. Working from home. Listen, I talk to every single buyer and ask them, do you plan on going back? Do you feel like this is a short-term thing that you're going to be working from home? Most people I speak to don't want to go back full-time. They really feel like having that home office space is just very important, and it's not a short-term fix, and it's something they see as a very valuable feature of a home. So obviously people who need home offices in a way that they didn't need them before might need more space, right? And of course, just these record low breaking interest rates are just going to continue to help the demand and to continue that intensity level of the demand. So if there was one thing I'd be looking at if I were a seller as far as keeping track of whether those numbers are going to start to shift, it's the interest rates. It's definitely the interest rates. You could sort of look at the interest rates and know that for every 1 point that interest rate fluctuates, the buyers will lose about 10% of buying power, give or take, up or down. So, it's a great time to be a seller. It's a super frustrating time to be a buyer. It's not a market that probably any seller or buyer is used to or really has ever been in. So when you're entering into these markets as a buyer or a seller, you kind of have to forget about whatever experience you had and just understand that this is all very, very different, and understand what's happening in this market that makes it so unique. And we do a lot of that education process with our clients. So, questions that come up constantly are, should I buy in this super hot market? Should I wait? And these are great questions to be having with your real estate team. So again, I'm Stacy Esser with the Stacy Esser Group, and I'm so happy you're watching. So before I leave, giving you a little tidbit of what's happening in your local market, let me throw you some numbers. And if we looked at Bergen County as a snapshot, there are numbers that we follow, market indicator numbers that we follow, and I'm just going to share them with you right now, and you could follow them on your own. Of course, you should subscribe to our newsletter, info@segrealty.com. These are amazing, informative, comprehensive data newsletters that we're writing to you every month, and they're very helpful if you're interested in understanding what's going on with the local real estate market and how it affects your investment, your home, your asset, or any future plans that you may have about real estate. So Bergen County market snapshot, here are your indicators. So we first want to look at supply and demand. We look at this as year over year. We're tracking this year over year. Here's what we know. Year over year, we are sitting with 1.6 months of supply. Last year, year over year, it was 3.6 months of supply. So we are more than 50% down in supply. And let me just tell you all, and I have to stop for a minute, the national government will tell you that 6 months of supply is considered a neutral market. So the fact that we're sitting at 1.6 months of inventory is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable number. So again, we're down 55% plus in actual inventory, months of supply. So we are still up in homes sold. We're up 23% in Bergen County for homes sold. And I can tell you that you will probably see that number start to come down, not because of a lack of demand. It's really just because of lack of supply, and at some point, if we don't have the supply, you'll start seeing month over month and year over year sold units come down. Don't let the media fool you and tell you, oh, we're not selling as much. the reason we wouldn't be selling as much is because we just don't have enough product. That's the reason. So can't sell it if you don't have it, all right? We also are up in our pending, which is just homes that are under contract. So what a great future teller, right? What's under contract is such a good future teller, right? So it tells us that we're up 37% in pending home sales year over year. We're also looking at how many days a house is spending on the market before it goes into this pending status, which is just an accepted offer status, right? So we are down over 15%. So homes are spending less time on the market. And for the drum roll, our average sold price is up 15% year over year. 15% year over year. It is a great time to be a seller. And you know what? I have to tell you, it's a frustrating time to be a buyer, but it's still a great time to be a buyer. So for more information on how we can help you navigate this crazy market and understand all the nuances and how to take advantage of this market, you should reach out to us, SEG Realty. We have spectacular agents in all of Bergen County, and we are here to help. I'm Stacy, and thank you so much for watching this episode of Market of the Moment. We'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.